Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the backstory. If you are new here, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the by-election in Kasipul Kabondo is going to be one interesting by-election because it's the first by-election happening after the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And had Raila been alive now, the Kasipul Kabondo by-election would have been a very easy ride. But apparently, as it is turning out right now, it seems like ODM is feeling the heat on the ground, and the support which was expected from UDA party, which they are in a coalition with, is not coming through. And this has now made the likes of Opondo Kaluma, who is a staunch member of ODM, to throw the first salvo at UDA.
For the independent candidate. We are campaigning for the independent candidate. It is confusing our people. Yesterday, Governor Obado came all the way from Migori. And he was campaigning with a rock. And you know he was campaigning in Kasipul. And you know it is in Kasipul where our daughter Sharon was also killed, in Kodera Forest near Dolde. So he's campaigning there. They are intimidating our people. The other day, another person was also there. Odoyo Wede is campaigning, abusing us. And yet we are in broad-based government under President Ruto. That one has not gone. Just as we are seated here, former governor for Kidero, Evans Kidero, has just left Aroko's home. What picture are they giving our people? Senator, you know very well the candidate, our candidate is facing in Oyugis, in Kasipul, is a suspect in the murder of Charles Omondoweri. The presence of those people together being murder suspects is intimidating our people. But the big problem is that we cannot be in broad-based government together. And then the UDA team is campaigning for the opponent of the ODM team. Man, open the broad-based government meeting. So we need you, Senator on Chariot, to tell the UDA team, to tell the president to rain on those people. They are intimidating our people. The other day they went to the home of Charles Omondoweri. They fired very many gunshots. And remember, Charles Omondoweri was killed like an animal in Nairobi. When you go to that family again and you are shooting up to 26 bullets, you are intimidating the people, you are manipulating the election. We are going to win that election, but we want peace in Nairobi. And we feel very bad, Senator. President Ruto, we feel very...
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you know it, ODM and the UDA are in broad-based government. And ideally, they should be working together so as to win different by-elections. UDA withdrew some of their candidates in other by-elections in order to support ODM. Take, for example, Magarini and other civic by-elections that are also happening in Nyanza. But the question is, why not Kasipul Kabondo? What is so special about Kasipul Kabondo such that UDA cannot tell its soldiers to stand down and support Boyd Were? Even though the candidate that is vying against Boyd Were, who is Philip Aroko, is not vying on a UDA ticket, he is vying as an independent candidate. Now, parties that worked with UDA in the last general election have been seen to be supporting Philip Aroko, who is an independent candidate. The question that we've been asking is, why is Kasipul Kabondo so special, and why is ODM feeling the heat in Kasipul Kabondo? One is the fact that ODM officials or ODM aspirants are now filling the void that has been left by the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. If Raila Odinga was there, right now he would have called Ruto, and some of these UDA officials or members who are affiliated to UDA would have stood down by now. Then secondly is that the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga would have gone there and his word would be law. He would just raise Boyd Were's hands and it would be a done deal by now. So without Raila Odinga, ODM has to go the extra mile. They have to deploy all the resources and personalities so as to win these by-elections. So it's the after effects of the absence of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga that is hitting ODM the hard way. Then secondly is the rivalry between Gladys Wanga, who is the governor of Homa Bay County, and her deputy Oyugi Magwanga. Oyugi Magwanga was forced, in the last general election, Oyugi Magwanga was forced to support Gladys Wanga by the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. This was done so as to enable Gladys Wanga to win easily against Kidero. But ideally, Oyugi Magwanga somehow felt betrayed by the former Prime Minister because he knew that he was going to win that seat because he comes from the most popular sub-county in Homa Bay County. So by now what Oyugi Magwanga and his team are doing is that they're trying to test their popularity against Gladys Wanga because Gladys Wanga is the ODM chairperson. And if Oyugi Magwanga is to go for nominations under ODM, then most definitely, or it's most likely that he will not be issued with a certificate under ODM. And Oyugi Magwanga, just as I've told you, is trying to test the waters to see that if he vies against Gladys Wanga, then can he win? And if he manages to do that, then he can go it alone under a different party. It is also a do or die for Gladys Wanga as well, and that is why she has deployed all the resources so as to win against her deputy, who might be her competitor come 2027 general election. Then the other issue is the uprising of those who felt abandoned or betrayed by ODM during the last general election. You know, there is a team here that vied under ODM, went for the nominations, won, but they were not issued with certificates under ODM. And they decamped to other parties but still vied and did not win. These are the people who are also testing waters, the likes of Evans Kidero, the likes of Okoth Obado, the MDG party chair. They are also trying to test their strength against ODM post Raila's death. For them here, they are trying to clip the wings or the influence of ODM in the entire Luo Nyanza so that they can try and pick numbers here and there in terms of MCAs, in terms of MPs, and even governors. So for them, it's also a do or die, in that if they manage to support Aroko and Aroko wins in Kasipul Kabondo, then the narrative, they can sell that narrative in the entire Luo Nyanza by telling guys that it's not a must for you to vie on ODM. There are alternatives. And this will help them to at least replicate that win in Kasipul Kabondo in other areas of Luo Nyanza. Because they know most definitely that if ODM wins in Kasipul, then it will show the voters from Luo Nyanza that ODM is still very popular, and this will disadvantage them going into 2027 general election. The fourth issue that is at play in Kasipul Kabondo is the Ruto effect, or President William Ruto and his handlers are also trying to test their popularity and their campaign machine in Luo Nyanza without the effect of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Why am I saying so? If President William Ruto wanted to work easily with ODM, then by now he would have informed, or he would have asked his lieutenants within Luo Nyanza to stand down. But as it stands right now, this has not happened. So President William Ruto and UDA as well are also trying to test their popularity in Luo Nyanza. If Aroko wins, then they would be able to tell that their machinery can work in different parts of Luo Nyanza and they can win seats. Because William Ruto as UDA, William Ruto's party as UDA also needs numbers. People have been saying that it has become unpopular in different parts of the country. And as a party, if it manages to win even 2 or 3 or 4 MPs within South Nyanza, within Luo Nyanza, that will be a plus to them. So they're also deploying their campaign machinery within Luo Nyanza so that at least they can try and test if it can work in this by-election, and then try and replicate the same in 2027. If they manage to win, then it will be a very big dent on ODM, because ideally ODM has been saying that they are going to work with President William Ruto up to 2027, then they will chart a way forward once they get there. But if they fail to win this seat, then it will also change the dynamics of the relationship between UDA, which is President William Ruto's party, and ODM, because ODM itself will have been weakened in a way, in that they will be told that their influence is already waning post the death of the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And this will change the dynamics, in that all their demands that they have been putting on the table might not be considered by President William Ruto. He might look for other options. He might strengthen like other parties within Luo Nyanza or independent candidates so as to weaken ODM ahead of 2027 general election. So ideally, this is a do or die race for ODM in Luo Nyanza. And that is why yesterday, some of the members of parliament or ODM officials who had skipped the campaigns had to be rallied so as to go and campaign for Boyd Were in Kasipul Kabondo. The likes of James Orengo and other political party leaders who come from Luo Nyanza were rallied yesterday to go and support Boyd Were, so that it can be seen that ODM is united and they are able to win that seat.
Kasipul oye! ODM! 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 Abiro ka kaka wuod Kasipul Kabondo. Matwan mo from
So you look at that mammoth crowd and the number of ODM MPs who attended that. It shows you that even the ODM members of parliament or officials from Luo Nyanza are also scared, because if they don't manage to win this, then this will be replicated, just as I've told you, in other constituencies. And this is going to be a very direct threat to the sitting members of parliament, because initially they were used to being supported by the former prime minister, and Raila's word then was law. But right now they have to go out there and campaign. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a very, very interesting race in Kasipul Kabondo. Whatever the outcome, ODM as a party will still have to go back to the drawing board and come up with a clear strategy on how it can win these other seats going into 2027 general election. Because remember, in 2027, it will be different formations against individual aspirants under ODM. I don't think they will gather all these members of parliament. They will gather all the resources to go around and campaign for each and every MCA, MPs, governors as well. So they will have to get it right during nominations so that they can at least try and minimize fallouts within the party. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it from us, but we'll keep monitoring what's going on in Homa Bay County, and we'll keep you guys posted. But if you are new here, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Until next time, bye-bye.